thank you, Prime Minister. And Minister of Foreign Affairs, thank you for doing this interview with me. You've just wrapped up a state dinner with the US President. How was it?
It was wonderful. It was an amazing event. It's a historical event, actually, to have. This is the first state visit by a US President to Qatar, so we are honored to have it.
Well, it certainly sounded very jovial and quite the welcome today with the red Cybertrucks and the camels.
Well, actually, this is the typical Qatari way of welcoming. The Cybertrucks has been in the forces, in the internal security forces, for a while, so it's not to please anyone, by the way, just for you and for the audience to know that.
I was going to ask, but I won't. I'll move on. It's good to hear that. Listen, today President Trump described Qatar's leader, the Emir, as a long-time friend and trusted partner. How has this relationship developed and evolved since Donald Trump's first term in office, when, frankly, he accused Qatar of sponsoring terrorism?
Well, actually, look, our relationship with the United States has been very institutional and well established for decades. Now, this partnership has been through a lot of, different periods where Qatar always stood up for the United States. There was a certain point of time when President Trump was in office in the first time where there were some miscommunication, unfortunately, that led to these kinds of false accusations against my country, which we have seen that the institutional relationship has safeguarded this relationship between the two countries, and basically we went back on track during his first administration, and we worked together very closely during that time, and we are continuing working, whether it's under President Biden administration and then with the President Trump again.
And how would you characterize that relationship now?
Well, I believe United States for Qatar considered as the most important strategic ally, that we've been working together in different areas, whether it's in security, defense, investments, trade, energy, education. It's not just, it's not a one-way partnership, it's a two-way partnership where I think it's mutually beneficial for both countries.
And importantly, the US sees Qatar as indispensable when it comes to the country's strategic mediation role across a whole slew of conflicts, a small country with a long outreach, as you describe it. And I want to talk about that. Before we do, let's start with business and the whole host of deals announced today between Doha and Washington. The White House touting a figure of some $1.2 trillion. That is a huge sum. Can you just break it down for us?
Well, basically, it's very simple. 1.2 trillion is the expected value of the economic partnership between the two countries for the next 10 years. And this is basically either it will be through an investment, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is the commitment that QIA is going to do throughout the next few years. Of course, adding to this the Boeing deal, which is the largest deal in the history of aviation for Qatar Airways, by buying the 210 airplanes from Boeing. And then also we have some defense procurement as well, plus the energy partnership that we have, where the next couple of years will be the opening of the Golden Pass, the LNG terminal, and the largest ethane cracker and petrochemical complex in the world that's invested by Qatar as well, will be open hopefully next year.
Were you asked by the President to match the trillion-dollar sums being committed by Riyadh and Abu Dhabi as a prerequisite for this trip?
No, actually there was nothing like this. It wasn't a race between the GCC countries. We were basically invited the President, since he's coming to the region, to come to Qatar because of the relationship that we have together with the United States, and we believe that there are a lot of topics of interest that we can discuss. Of course, the region is going through a turmoil, and it's a very delicate situation for us in the region, and the United States' role in stabilizing the region is indispensable. We had a lot to talk about, whether it's on Gaza, Syria, Iran, and other issues, plus the bilateral relationship. So I believe that the agenda wasn't really focused only on the investments or the numbers that's been announced, and this number actually happened to be with that size and this announcement because of the size of the deals that we were already planning.
Well, you pointed out that there is a commitment to buy over 200 jets from Boeing, price tag of around $200 million. Given it is Boeing's failure to deliver a new Air Force One to the President on time as promised, something like a 5-year delay, sir, are you confident that the aircraft manufacturer will deliver on time and on budget for you?
Well, Boeing has been a reliable partner for Qatar Airways for a long time, and of course we trust them, and we are confident that they are going to continue this partnership together with Qatar Airways. Qatar Airways has been nominated as the top airline in the world for many years consecutively, and we are using Boeing actually quite significantly in our fleet.
Can we take a moment to get to the bottom of this offer by Qatar of a multi-million-dollar Boeing 747-8 to President Trump? When did your government first start talking to the US about this aircraft, and who broached the subject first? Was it the US or was it Qatar?
Well, actually, it's, I know that there were a lot of speculations about this topic. I don't know what is the reason that instigated this. This is a very simple government-to-government dealing when Ministry of Defense and Department of Defense are still exchanging the possibility of transferring one of our 747s -8 to be used as Air Force One, and it's still under the legal review, so there is nothing really, I don't know what was like, why it became like so big as a news that this is something that, considered, in a very strange way. It's, we have done a lot together with the US. For example, the airlifting that happened during Afghanistan evacuation, 80% of that been taken care of from Qatar.
I think the point is that this, people are confused as to whether this is a personal offer to President Trump from the Emir. Certainly President Donald Trump suggesting in an interview on Tuesday that Qatar approached him claiming that one Qatari official said, if I can help you, let me do that. Is that true?
Well, it is a government-to-government transaction. It has nothing to do with personnel, whether it's on the US side or on the Qatari side. It's Ministry of Defense, Department of Defense. So I don't see anything in that.
It's, you're alluding to the fact that this has created huge controversy in the States, and this is sort of bipartisan criticism, Republicans and Democrats accusing the president of graft, and Qatar of buying influence. Are you?
Why would we buy an influence in the United States? If you look just, in the last 10 years of the US-Qatar relationship, Qatar has been always there for the US when it's needed, whether it's on the war against terror, whether it's in the evacuation of Afghanistan, whether it's on releasing hostages from different countries around the world. And Qatar has been always a reliable partner for the US, has been always stepping up to help and to support the US, because we believe that this friendship needs to be mutually beneficial for both countries. It cannot be a one-way relationship.
Did you anticipate the strong backlash that this announcement or this offer, as you say, it is not yet signed off on, but this offer, did you anticipate the backlash, and might you have made another decision, were you to have thought that this would happen?
Well, actually, nothing is changing our decision. It's at the end of the day, if there is something that the US need and it's completely legal and we can we are able to help and to support the U.S. and we are not shying away from that. We are proud people, and even if there is something is coming out of Qatar for the U.S., it's coming out of love. It doesn't come out of in exchange of anything for that.
It sits with the lawyers, as I understand it, at present. If it's not deemed legal, the offer would be withdrawn, I assume.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we will not do anything illegal. I mean, if there was something illegal, there were many ways to hide these kind of transactions when will not be visible for the public. I mean, this is a very clear exchange that's happening between two governments, and this is happening between countries around the world. I don't see any controversy in it. I don't know why it's been taken to a different direction and it's being politicized this way.
The offer still stands.
Well, it's basically, as I told you, we have done, just something that we are standing with an ally, with a partner, and basically it's still under review between the two departments.
Can we talk about Syria?
Sure.
You're a strong backer of this new government, and you've been lobbying for sanctions release for some time now to unlock aid into the country. Now Donald Trump in Riyadh announced that he is lifting sanctions. This news is making huge waves across this region. What do you now believe that you can accomplish for Syria?
Well, I think first of all, the Syrian people deserve to live a dignified life, and basically the sanctions were imposed on Assad regime, given his behavior against his own people. And now, if the sanctions remained as they were, how we will be able to help the Syrian people to change their situation and to get out of the consequences of the civil war that they had and they've been through in the last 12 years maybe. So lifting the sanction, we believe it is the right step moving forward. Now, there are a lot of questions being raised about, okay, how do we know the current government, what's about their background? Everyone has these questions, and these are legitimate questions since it's a new government. And given this background, of course, we have no knowledge about this government until they became in power. So basically, what we decided to do is to start engaging with them, to start to see if they are saying and doing the right things. Then we should support them. We should support the stability of Syria. We should support that Syria shouldn't fail and shouldn't turn into a chaos. And basically, what we've been hearing and what we've been seeing until now, we've been hearing the right things. Of course, there will be downsides from time to time. There will be some mistakes happening here and there, and this is a country which is getting out of civil war after a long time. So we believe disengaging is going to be the biggest mistake, will leave us with just one option, chaos. But engaging in a constructive manner, trying to help to alleviate the situation over there in Syria and making sure that we are working together with them step by step, that's the only way for us where we will have a chance to have a better Syria and stabilize Syria.
And you've said this before, this a revitalized Syria, helps a more peaceful, stable and secure region. I mean, what happens in Syria doesn't stay in Syria.
It is indeed. Actually, Syria has been historically, if you will look at it, it's center of gravity in the region. If there is a stability over there, this stability has its effects around the region. If it's destabilized, then we can see the entire region being destabilized. And look, Becky, the Syrian people, they are an outstanding people. You can see them everywhere around the world. You see how innovative they are, how creative they are, how productive they are. They migrated from Syria, running away from fleeing the civil war. But when they went to the countries that they migrated to, they became doctors, engineers, they became innovators, businessmen. In some countries where they have employment issues, they became employers even. So I believe that we have a strong belief in the Syrian people that they can lift up the situation over there in Syria. We just need to help them, to enable them.
Do you believe that Syria can be one unified country? We're certainly seeing Turkey and Israel battling for territory and influence there. What's your sense?
Well, we believe that the fate of Syria should be in the hands of the Syrian people. Syria has been this country that has the beauty of diversity for ages, for centuries. And it is the great demonstration of the harmony of that region, where you can see people from different backgrounds, from different sects, from different ethnicities, living side by side together peacefully, and no one really thinks about what's the background of each other. And basically this harmonization that's unfortunately been somehow cracked by the civil war needs to come back, and we believe that there is a lot of hope that this is coming back as one country. At the end of the day, what's the activities that's been done by Israel recently and the bombing, we have said that many times and repeatedly, this has been an irresponsible act from the beginning, and it means only just to destabilize Syria. Now, when people are talking about an area of influence, whether it's on Turkey or Israel, Syria is for the Syrian people, and those are the ones who should decide.
President Trump wants Syria to normalize relations with Israel. Your reaction to what would be a seismic shift in geopolitics were that to happen? Do you expect that to happen?
Well, what we are hearing from the Syrian government, they don't want to engage in war with their neighbors. They want to have a peace with their neighbors. Israel has occupied territories in Syria. If they have a deal that will make sure that the Syrian lands are back to their people, we don't see an obstacle to have a peace together and normalization together. We should go back to the root cause of the issue. We shouldn't just, forget about it and just address, what if we make peace with Israel, or what if not? Basically, the reason of the conflict between Israel and different countries in the region is the occupation of the Palestinian territory, of the Arabian territories in Syria. Once those are liberated or returned back to the people, we said it many times and repeatedly, Arab Peace Initiative for Palestine, two-state solution, we are willing to normalize, we are willing to engage, we are willing to give the security guarantees for Israel, and I'm sure that the withdrawal from the Syrian lands also will bring back security to Israel and will bring peace for the Syrian and the Israeli people.
What you're saying is that Qatar, along with many other Arab states, would normalize relations, but for the current situation and the root cause. And let's talk about Gaza. You've been deeply involved in mediating between Israel and Hamas for more than 19 months. I've been in and out of this country and watched the efforts that have been put into that mediation. There's a high-level Israeli delegation here today. Steve Witkoff is here, Donald Trump's Middle East envoy, and his chief hostage negotiator, Adam Boehler. What can you tell us about any progress in those talks, the indirect talks, of course, with Hamas here?
Well, the progress that we have achieved by releasing Idan Alexander, the Israeli-American citizen, the day before yesterday, from our perspective, we were seeing it as a breakthrough that will help and bring back the talks on track and bring us a ceasefire and opening up a humanitarian corridor for the humanitarian assistance to come to the people of Gaza. Unfortunately, Israel's reaction to this was a mass bombing the next day while sending the delegation, and statements coming out of the Israeli government that this delegation is coming to negotiate a hostage deal without ending the war, which is basically sending the signal that we are not interested in negotiations. This was a bad signal, and we have highlighted this concern to the Israelis, and we told them that we need to engage in a meaningful negotiations that making sure that returns all the hostages safely and ending the war in Gaza and making sure that the humanitarian suffering is lifted from Gaza. Right now, our teams are engaging with both parties. We hope to see some progress. I'm not sure if this progress will be something seen very soon with this continuing behavior.
With serious doubts about Israel's willingness to come to a deal, I have to ask, what purpose do these talks serve at this point? I know when you and I talked back in January, Steve Witkoff had made huge efforts, and you applauded him for getting that ceasefire and hostage deal cut at that stage. I mean, do you feel we're further away from a solution to this at this point than ever?
Well, basically, as you refer to our talks in January when we reached the deal earlier this year, Steve Witkoff has put a lot of efforts in that. Steve Witkoff is continuing helping us and supporting the process, but at the end of the day, whether it's us or Steve Witkoff, the U.S., Egypt, we work together collectively to reach a solution. At the end of the day, it lies within the parties. If there is no willingness to engage in a meaningful negotiations, then how can we reach the solution? We convene, we try to facilitate, we try to bridge the gaps, but at the end of the day, the decision is in the hands of the parties, of the main stakeholders, not us.
Prime Minister, can I ask you what you think of the American plan to create its own private aid mechanism with this months-long blockade continuing and the prospect of famine in Gaza?
There is no any plan presented to us yet, and we hear things in the media here and there, and we don't see a necessity for a plan because the UN has been there, has been working relentlessly, has been targeted for the last 19 months during the war. The UN should be protected and should be able to also to do its role in delivering humanitarian aid for the people. There is no conflict that we've been watching in the recent history that's like Gaza, blockaded and not allowing humanitarian aid to get into the people. We see famine there, we see starvation. And we just read reports and watching the news every day, and it became, unfortunately, like a normalized news, which is basically something we believe it's terrible for, not only for the Gazans people, but for the rest of the world. It's just setting a precedent for more and more dangerous situations to get this way.
Before I let you go, this is my final question. The US is in talks with Iran. Donald Trump has said the time to choose is now. This is not an offer that will last forever. He said he'd discussed Iran with the Emir today. Did he share what that US offer to Iran looks like? Are they close to a deal? And he talked about how the Emir has been a great help. So what's Qatar's involvement here?
Well, actually, we had a very good and very productive discussion between His Highness the Emir and the President about the negotiations on the Iran nuclear program. We strongly believe that this can be only solved diplomatically, and we believe that escalation is not in the interest of any party. We are trying our best to support that effort. Our colleagues in Oman is doing an outstanding job in mediating the conflict between them, and any kind of support that we are able to provide when we are reaching out to the parties, we are doing our utmost. The discussion basically between His Highness and the President is just highlighting the risks of not having a deal and what would be the best way to mitigate those through finding a compromise between the between the US and Iran that can bring us to a deal.
It is 10 to 12. It's very late. You've had a long supper and a very long day. I very much appreciate your time tonight. And with that, we'll close this out. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.